Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
You are able to see the screen? Hello? Hello?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes,
The screen is visible, sir.
The screen is visible. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very much visible.
Thank you. So today we are going to discuss. Today we are going to discuss about the global trends in open cast mining, particularly the heavy earth moving machines. Heavy earth moving machineries used in surface mines. So you know that the history of mineral development, if you go through the history of mineral development, it is as old as the civilization. Particularly in case of India, the mineral production started way back 6,000 years ago. In India itself, the mining activities started some 6,000 years ago. So it is found that the people of Mohenjo-daro, Harappa in Pakistan, Lodha, Gujarat civilization used various type of metals for their weapons, armaments, and ornaments. So this shows that the mining has started way back 6,000 years ago. The remains of some of the old mine workings are a witness to this fact. A few of these workings have led to the discovery of a number of significant mineral deposits, which are being worked in the present time also. These minerals include the lead zinc deposit in Jawar mines, lead zinc deposit at Jawar mines, copper deposit at Khetri mines, gold deposits in Karnataka Kolar gold fields. So these mines were very old mines. So the metallurgical and mineral industries constitute the bedrock of industrial development because they provide the basic raw materials for most of the industries. So mining is very important because without mining, no other industrial development can take place. The minerals are the raw materials for various industries. For example, you are mining coal for the power generation. You are mining coal for steel production. You are mining coal for cement production. So the minerals are very much necessary for the industrial development of a country. Therefore, the importance of mineral development for the economic growth of a country was realized in India very long back. So as early as 326 BC, Chanakya in his Kautilya's Arthashastra has written that the importance of minerals is highlighted in Kautilya's Arthashastra as early as 326 BC. The document says that mines are the sources of treasury. Mines are the sources of treasury. From treasury comes the power of the government. and the earth, whose armament is by means of treasury and army. Therefore, mining is very important profession for the industrial development of a country. Mining is very important. Though the legacy of mining in India is very old, the mineral production was limited in quantity and very restricted to a few minerals only. In earlier days, only few minerals were mined, but the situation did not change much till the end of British rule in India. Till 1950, the situation was not so good in the mineral sector. Prior to independence, the country was largely dependent on imports of commodities such as copper, lead, zinc, sulfur, graphite, petroleum. So prior to independence, prior to 1947, our country, India, was not producing these minerals. So these minerals were imported from other countries. Such minerals are copper, lead, zinc, sulfur, graphite, and petroleum. Therefore, on the eve of independence, after India became independent in the 1947, 15th August 1947, the annual value of mineral production was merely 0.58 billion rupees, 0.58 billion, and the inventory details were available only in respect of few minerals such as coal, iron ore, chromite, bauxite, manganese ore, and magnesite. So very few minerals were mined like coal, iron ore, chromite, bauxite, manganese ore, and magnesite ore. So after India got political independence in the year 1947, the important role of mines and mineral development in the country's economic growth was realized. The first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, realized that mines and minerals are very much necessary for industrial development of the country, and an impetus to the development of the mineral sector was imparted in the country. So the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, realized that minerals are very much necessary for industrial development of the country. He dreamed for industrialization. Therefore, the mining sector was expanded to mine the various type of deposits. So for mining, you have to prove the existence of mineral deposits. Before going for mining, you should prove the mineral deposits. So who is going the exploration work? So the exploration of minerals was intensified to prove the existence of the different type of minerals in the country. The exploration work was carried out by the Geological Survey of India. Geological Survey of India was established and strengthened for the purpose of exploration of the mineral deposits. So in India, what are the different type of minerals lying below the Earth's crust is being proved by Geological Survey of India. The job of Geological Survey of India, GSI, was to explore the mineral deposits. Then The Indian Bureau of Mines came into existence in Nagpur, situated in Nagpur, Indian Bureau of Mines, IBM. Its job is to go for scientific development and conservation of mineral resources. The job of Geological Survey of India is to go for exploration of the mineral deposits, and the job of the Indian Bureau of Mines is to look after scientific development of the mineral deposits and conservation of mineral. No wastage should be there while mining the mineral deposits. So you have to adopt the scientific method of mining. So the Indian Bureau of Mines was established to look after the scientific development and conservation of mineral resources. The IBM, Indian Bureau of Mines, situated at Nagpur, was also assigned the responsibility of conducting exploration with more of emphasis on coal deposits, iron ore deposits, limestone deposits, dolomite deposits, manganese ore, keeping in view the requirement of the proposed steel plants. So after India became independent, the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, wanted to establish steel plants in the country for industrialization, for industrial development. The first Prime Minister of India wanted to establish steel plants in India. For producing steel, for establishing steel plants, you need the coal deposits, you need the coal, you need the iron ore, you need the limestone, you need the dolomite, you need the manganese. So therefore, the job was given to Indian Bureau of Mines to explore the coal deposits in the country, iron ore deposits in the country, limestone and dolomite deposits in the country, manganese deposits in the country. So later, in the year 1972, another corporation was established, which is known as the Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited, MECL. This Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited was established in 1972 in Nagpur itself, in Nagpur, in India, in Nagpur. MECL, Mineral Exploration Corporation, was established along with Indian Bureau of Mines. Indian Bureau of Mines is there in Nagpur, as well as Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited is also situated at Nagpur. Their function, this function was transferred to it. So the initially the Indian Bureau of Mines was established in Nagpur to look after the scientific mining, scientific development of mineral deposits, scientific method of mining, and conservation of mineral resources. At the same time, before establishment of Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited, IBM was also asked to explore the coal deposits of the country, explore the iron ore deposits of the country, explore the limestone deposits of the country, explore the dolomite deposits in the country, and explore the manganese deposits in the country. But after in the year 1972, when the Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited came into India, established in Nagpur, this mineral exploration work was transferred to Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited. So the Indian Bureau of Mines is only doing the scientific development and conservation of mineral resources. Whereas from 1972 onwards, the Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited is carrying out the exploration work. For the exploration of the mineral deposits in India, there are two government departments are there. One is Geological Survey of India. Their primary job is to explore the mineral deposits. Similarly, another corporation is there, Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited is there, whose job is to explore the mineral deposits also. So in India, there are two organizations who are looking after, who are carrying out the mineral exploration job. One is Geological Survey of India and another is Mineral Exploration Corporation Limited. And the organization, which is known as Indian Bureau of Mines, their primary job is to go for scientific development of the mineral deposits and conservation of the mineral resources so that there will be no wastage of minerals. Their job is to enforce that whosoever is doing mining, they have to carry out scientifically, systematically, with due care to the environment, with due care to the conservation of the mineral resources. So coal is the primary mineral or fuel. Coal is the primary fuel necessary for producing steel, for running railway lines, railways, rail locomotive haulages, for power plants. Your thermal power plants. Thermal power plants, they need coal for producing electricity. Railways, they need coal for running the locomotive haulages. Nowadays, of course, railways, they are running on electric locos. But in 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, so the railways, the railway lines, or the railway wagons, or the railway engines, they were running by feeding coal. By using coal, the railway locomotive haulages were carried out. Similarly, the steel sector, Steel Authority of India Limited, steel for producing steel, Tata Steel, Steel Authority of India Limited, for producing steel, they need coal. Without coal, they cannot produce steel. But unfortunately, the Indian coal is of low grade. Therefore, they are not coking coal. For steel production, we need coking coal. And this coking coal is coming from Australia to India to produce the steel. In Rourkela also, in Rourkela steel plant also, they are getting Australian coal for producing the steel. So therefore, so the coal was the one to have received the maximum attention for being the basic fuel for a whole range of industries, such as steel industry, railway, power plants, thermal power plants. They need coal for the power generation. Therefore, the capacity for large-scale production of various minerals was created in the public sector. So in 1975, nationalization, coal nationalization took place. The coal mining activity and mineral mining activities were given to the public sectors, not the private sector. So keeping that in view, to produce large-scale production of various type of minerals, the Government of India created National Coal Development Corporation (NCDC) in the 1956. It was National Coal Development Corporation whose job was to mine the coal deposits in the country, which was created in the year 1956 prior to Coal India Limited. The Coal India Limited came into existence much after that. First, the coal mining activities were carried out by National Coal Development Corporation, which was created in the year 1956. Then another company came into existence in the year 1958, which was known as National Mineral Development Corporation (NMDC), which is now also operating for producing the iron ore deposits, particularly for iron ore mining. This National Mineral Development Corporation (NMDC) was created in the year 1958 to mine the iron ore deposits. For mining the coal deposits, National Coal Development Corporation was created in the year 1956, and for mining the iron ore deposits, National Mineral Development Corporation was created in the year 1958. Then for bauxite mining, from the bauxite you get the aluminium. So for bauxite mining, BALCO was created in the 1965. Bharat Aluminium Company Limited was created in the year 1965 to mine the bauxite deposits. Then in the year 1960, Pyrites, Phosphates and Chemicals Limited company was created. A public sector company was created in the year 1968 to mine the pyrite deposits, to mine the phosphate deposits, and prepare the chemicals. So these pyrites and phosphates are necessary for the fertilizer plants. So Pyrites, Phosphates and Chemicals Limited was created in 1960, keeping that in view to mine the pyrites and phosphates. Then in the year 1966, Hindustan Zinc Limited was created for lead zinc mining. For mining the lead zinc deposits, Hindustan Zinc Limited was created in the year 1966. This company is still working now, also it is working. This Hindustan Zinc Limited recently is being taken over by Vedanta. A Vedanta company has taken over the Hindustan Zinc Limited. So this Hindustan Zinc is now taken over by Vedanta Corporation, Vedanta private organization. Then another company was created in the year 1957 to mine the lignite deposits of the country, which is known as Navali Lignite Corporation Limited, NLC. So this company was primarily created for lignite mining in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, still it is there, Navali Lignite Corporation, who are mining the lignite deposits by the help of bucket wheel excavators and bucket chain excavator. Bucket wheel excavators and bucket chain excavators they are using for lignite mining. So lignite mining is carried out by Navali Lignite Corporation Limited, which was created in India in the year 1957. There are some lignite mines in Gujarat also, which are mined by Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation. Then for copper mining, in the year 1967, Hindustan Copper Limited was created. For copper mining, Hindustan Copper Limited (HCL) was established in the year 1967. So the copper deposits of Khetri mines, Ghatsila mines, they are all operated by Hindustan Copper Limited. Then for gold mining, in the year 1972, BGML, Bharat Gold Mines Limited was created. Bharat Gold Mines Limited was created in the year 1972 for gold mining purpose. Then in the year 1973, the Steel Authority of India Limited was created, which was formerly known as Hindustan Steel Limited. So this Hindustan Steel Limited was redesignated as Steel Authority of India Limited, which is now operating in India. So these are the different public sector companies created after India got independence to develop the various industries in India. The first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, created all these public sector companies for mineral development, for mineral mining, for industrialization of India. So the companies which are created, National Coal Development Corporation, subsequently National Coal Development Corporation was taken over by Coal India Limited. National Mineral Development Corporation, which is still working, Belladilla iron ore mines, other iron ore deposits are mined by National Mineral Development Corporation. Your Bharat Aluminium Company, BALCO, the bauxite deposits. National Aluminium Company, NALCO, afterwards established in Orissa, in Koraput district, in Patmali bauxite mine. They are mining the bauxite from the Koraput district of Odisha by NALCO, National Aluminium Company. And in Paradip, in Odisha, Paradip, Pyrites, Phosphates and Chemicals Company is there, PPCL. Pyrites, Phosphates and Chemicals plant is there in Paradip, Odisha, in the coastal belt. They are producing the fertilizers necessary for agriculture purpose. They are using the minerals like pyrites and phosphates for producing the fertilizers. Then your Hindustan Zinc Limited was given the responsibility to mine the lead zinc deposits of the country, and now this company is taken over by Vedanta. Then Navali Lignite Corporation, which is still working for mining the lignite deposits in Tamil Nadu. Then Hindustan Copper Limited is also working for copper deposits, copper mining, Khetri copper deposits, Khetri copper mines, your Ghatsila copper mines. It is operated by Hindustan Copper Limited. Then your Bharat Gold Mines Limited, which was situated in your Kolar gold fields for mining of the gold deposits. And subsequently, the Steel Authority of India Limited is also mining the iron ore deposits for their steel plants. Steel Authority of India Limited is having iron ore mines. They are also having the limestone and dolomite mines for their captive use. Okay, So these are the various companies created in India for mining of the different type of minerals. So what is the present scenario in India? What is the present scenario? So we discussed the pre-independence era and post-independence era. But what is the present situation in India? What is the present scenario in India with respect to minerals mining? Presently, India produces as many as 89 type of minerals. So very few minerals were produced. But if you take the situation now, scenario now in India, it is producing as many as 89 type of minerals comprising four fuel minerals, including your coal and lignite, 11 metallic minerals. 11 type of metallic minerals are mined in India, and 52 non-metallic minerals are mined in India, and 22 minor minerals are mined in India. There are 89 type of minerals mined in India. So you see that there are various type of minerals are mined in India. Therefore, the mining industry in India is very second biggest, second largest employer in India is your mining industry. The first is agriculture, second is mining in India. In the year 1999 and 2000, the aggregate mineral production of our country was about 550 million tons, contributed by over 3,100 mines. In India, in the year 2000, there were 3,100 number of mines producing coal, lignite, limestone, iron ore, bauxite, copper, lead, zinc, etc., etc. So the mining leases, what do you mean by mining lease? To mine the deposits from the earth crust, you have to take a lease, you have to apply for the lease area to the government of the particular state. The mining leases numbering 9,244 were spread over 21 states. In India, about 21 states are having the mining areas, mining leases, numbering 9,200 leases are given in 21 states on about 13,000 mineral deposits occupying about 0.7 million hectares of land, which is 0.21% of the total land mass of the country. So after 2000, as on 31st March 2009, the total number of leasehold areas for minerals, excluding fuel minerals, atomic minerals, minor minerals, was 9,308, covering an area of 4,93,000 hectares of land is occupied by the mining activities in India as on 31st March 2009. In the year 2009, India was the third highest hard coal producing country. So in terms of coal mining activities, China is number one country. China is producing about 2,971 million ton of coal annually. Next to China, United States of America is producing 919 million ton of coal annually. Third highest hard coal producing country is India, which is producing 526 million ton of coal. So if you see the global scenario, China is the first country in terms of coal production. Second is the United States of America, and third is the India. In terms of coal deposits, in terms of coal production, India is the third largest country for producing the coal from the coal mines. But this production was not sufficient. This much of coal is not sufficient to meet the country's demand. There is a lot of demand in the country to produce more coal, as a result of which India had to import 60 million ton of coal. So in spite of producing huge amount of coal in India, there is shortfall. There is great demand of coal to produce electricity. So therefore, the India is also importing 60 million ton of coal from other countries. As I have told earlier, the steel plants, they need coking coal. Coking coal they need. In India, we don't have the coking coal in large quantities. Therefore, the coking coal is coming from Australia to feed the steel plants. During the financial year 2009 and 10, country's coal production target was 535 million ton, of which India could produce 416 million ton. Up to January 2010, India could produce 416 million ton of coal in the year 2009 and 10. But our target was 535. So there is a shortfall to meet the target demand of the country. So this is the coal production of India during the year 2009 and 10. So the coal company is Coal India Limited, which is targeted to produce 437 million ton of coal, but it produced only 338 million ton till January 2010. Another company is there in India, situated in Andhra Pradesh, which is known as Singareni Collieries Company Limited. Singareni Collieries Company Limited, which was targeted to produce 45 million ton of coal, but it could achieve 41.03 million ton up to January 2010. Then there are some other companies are there which are also producing coal, like Tata Steel. They are also having coal mines. So other than Coal India Limited and Singareni Collieries Company Limited, other companies, private companies, they produce, their target was 52 million ton, but they could produce only 37 million ton. So total production, total target in the year 2009 and 10 was 535, out of which India could produce only 416 0.47 million tons. So there is a shortfall. We are not able to meet the demand of coal. So therefore there is need of expansion of the mining activities. As I have told, the Neyveli Lignite Corporation is producing the lignite deposits. Lignite production from all mines of Lignite Corporation, Neyveli Lignite Corporation Limited during the current financial year put together was 22.34 million ton. Neyveli Lignite Corporation and Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation, who are producing lignite from the lignite mines, they could produce 22 million ton of lignite. The recoverable reserves of some of the important minerals ores found in India as in 1970 and 1995 are given in this table. So you see, these are the recoverable reserves of some important minerals ores found in India in the year 1970 and in the year 1990. So the different type of minerals, important minerals, hematite, iron ore, magnetite, iron ore. So this is the reserve, recoverable reserve. Lead and zinc, dolomite, limestone, chromite, coal. So this is the total geological reserve, coal deposit. Coal in the year 70, the reserve of coal was 94,000. In the year 95, the coal reserve increased to 210,000. Because of the exploration activities, we could get more coal deposits in our country. So this is the table which gives recoverable reserves in million tons of different type of important minerals: hematite, magnetite, iron ore deposits, bauxite for aluminium production, copper, lead, zinc, dolomite, limestone, chromite, coal. So the money, the revenue generated from the mining activities, the value of mineral production in India during the year 1999-2000 was estimated at 452.3 billion rupees. 452.3 billion rupees, of which the contribution from public sector was 378.4 billion rupees. 84% revenue was generated from the public sector companies and 16% revenue was generated from private mining companies. So in the total value of mineral production, fuel minerals accounted for 372 billion rupees. 82% was contributed by coal, lignite, and other fuel minerals. And the metallic minerals revenue was 34.2 billion rupees, 8% only. Non-metallic minerals, 18.3 billion rupees, so 4%. Minor minerals, 27.6 billion, 6%. So this is the revenue generated by the mining activities in India in the year 1999 and 2000. The mineral production in the year 1970-71, 1990-91, 99-2000 are given in the following table. It may be observed from the table that there has been a rapid growth in the production of the coal and lignite because coal is needed for power generation. Lignite is also needed for power generation. And iron ore is needed for iron ore steel making, and limestone is also needed for steel making. So therefore, the coal production, lignite production, iron ore production, limestone production increased tremendously in India during the past 3 decades. So this limestone is not only used for steel production, but it is used for cement production also. So if you see this table, production of some selected minerals in India, if you see the non-metallic minerals, there are 4 types of non-metallic minerals produced in India: limestone, dolomite, gypsum, diamond. These are the 4 types of non-metallic minerals produced in India: limestone, dolomite, gypsum, diamond. So if you compare the values during 1970, 1990, 99, so limestone was produced 23 million ton in 70, 70 million ton in 90, 127 million ton in 2000. So there is tremendous increase in production of the limestone in our country. Similarly, dolomite, gypsum, diamond also. Okay, but if you see the fuel minerals, so there are 4 type of fuel minerals mined in India: coal, lignite, crude oil, natural gas. These are the 4 fuel minerals produced in India: coal, lignite, crude oil, natural gas. So the fuel minerals, coal, in the year 70, only 73 million ton of coal was produced, but it jumped to 300 million tons in the year 2000. So there is a gigantic jump in the production of coal during the year 2000. Similarly, lignite, crude oil, natural gas has also production has increased tremendously. And there are metallic minerals like your bauxite, chromite, copper ore, iron ore, manganese ore, lead zinc ore, gold ore. These are the metallic minerals produced in million tons in different years, and there is rapid jump in the production of metallic minerals. So these are the metallic minerals produced in our country: bauxite, chromite, copper, iron ore, manganese, lead zinc, gold ore. So presently in India, it is one of the world's top 10 producers of non-petroleum minerals. India is enriched with different type of minerals. Therefore, India is one of the world's top 10 producers of non-petroleum minerals. Petroleum is not there much in India, but other type of minerals are plentifully available in India. So in the year 1970, in India, a purposeful thrust was given towards surface mining. So earlier underground mining was there, but from the year 1970, India gave a purposeful thrust to go for surface mining. Why surface mining? Because it can produce more minerals. So our topic in this semester is surface mining. So now we have come to our topic, which is surface mining, open cast mining. So the open cast mining activities expanded from the year 1970 in India with a purposeful thrust to meet the increasing mineral demand. Since there is a lot of demand of minerals are there, so the demands can be fulfilled by surface mining activities. And since then, the country's mining industry has experienced a phenomenal shift from underground mining to surface mining. So prior to 1970, there were much more thrust on underground mining. But to meet the increasing demand of minerals, you have to go for surface mining activities. So from this underground mining activities, the country shifted to surface mining activities for production of different type of minerals and coal in our country. So the upsurge of the surface mining activities has resulted in establishing large size surface coal mines. In India, very big surface coal mines were established to produce huge amount of coal from giant open cast, from Nigahi open cast mines, from Dudhichia open cast mines, Amlori open cast mines, Jebra open cast mines, Dipka open cast mines, Rajmahal open cast projects, Piparwar open cast mines, Ashoka open cast mines. These are the very big open cast mines situated in India. So if you get any chance to go for training, you must visit giant open cast mines in Singrauli collieries, Nigahi open cast projects in Singrauli collieries, Dudhichia, Amlori, Jebra open cast projects, Deepika open cast project, Rajmal open cast project, Piparwar open cast project, Ashoka open cast project. So these are the very big open cast mines where a lot of mechanization is there, highly mechanized open cast mines. And these are coal mines. Okay. Then if you see the surface metal mines, iron ore mines, Kudremukh iron ore mines, Malajkhand copper mines, Rampura Agucha lead zinc mines, increase in production from existing surface mines, increase in size of conventional mining equipments, and introduction of new equipment and new technology is adopted in Kudremukh iron ore mines, Malajkhand copper mines, Rampura Agucha lead zinc mines. If you get an opportunity, you should visit the Kudremukh iron ore mine, which is operated by National Mineral Development Corporation. Similarly, Malajkhand copper, which is operated by Hindustan Copper Limited. If you get opportunity, you should also visit Rampur Agucha mines, lead zinc mines operated by Vedanta. So these are the very big mines operated in India. So we have discussed that there are 89 different type of minerals mined in India. Of the 89 different minerals that are mined today in India, most are coming from the surface mines. Most of these minerals are coming from the surface mines. Our topic of discussion is surface mining technology. So in India, most of the minerals are mined by surface mining activities. Some of the minerals which are produced exclusively or mainly from underground mines earlier are currently being produced by surface mines also. So surface mines are spread all over India, all over the globe, all over the world. Surface mines are prevalent in every part of the globe. Presently in our country, the surface mines contribute the major share of minerals. More than 88% of the minerals are coming from about 90% of the minerals are coming from the surface mines of the coal and lignite production. More than 50% of the copper and lead zinc ore and a considerable amount of manganese ore are also produced from the surface mines. Chromite comes from both surface and underground mines. Chromite is mined by both surface mining activity and underground mining activity. A small portion, about 10% of the total production of gold, is also extracted by surface mining. 10% of the gold in India is extracted by surface mining activity. Recently, a surface mine has been opened up, and a few more are likely to come up in near future to extract uranium ore in our country. The uranium mining is carried out by Uranium Corporation of India Limited. Uranium Corporation of India Limited is mining the uranium deposit. Uranium, thorium, atomic minerals are mined by the Uranium Corporation of India Limited. Earlier, they were having only underground mines in here underground mines in Jaduguda, Narua Pahad. Now they have also producing uranium from the surface mines. Only petroleum and natural gas cannot be mined by surface mining activity. Only petroleum and natural gas cannot be mined by surface mining activities. Only petroleum and natural gas come exclusively from the underground mines. In the year 2010 and 11, the number of reporting mines, excluding fuel, atomic, and minor minerals, is 2054, and the number of operating underground mines was only 85, excluding fuel, atomic, and minerals. So in India, in the year 2010 and 11, it is estimated that there are 2054 surface mines are there. Only 85 number of underground mines are there in India. So you see the gigantic number 2054 compared to 85 number of underground mines. 2054 number of surface mines are there in India, 85 number of underground mines in India. So almost 100% of the country's production of the mineral other than coal and lignite, copper ore, lead and zinc ore, uranium ore, chromite ore, manganese ore, gold ore, steatite and petroleum and natural gas comes from the surface mines. More than 80% of the total mineral production in terms of both volume and value of India comes from surface mines. 80% of all the minerals are coming from the surface mines, and the same trend is likely to continue for the next few decades. So you see, in India also, we are producing 80% of the mineral from the surface mines. That is why I have told you this surface mining technology subject is very, very important for you. You must study this subject very sincerely, because if you want to become a mining engineer, successful mining engineer, you have to deal with surface mining activities. So hope you understand the importance of this subject. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.